Hello and welcome to Stephen's Reading Hour, and I am about to read you a story from my book. The guard looked Bartholomew Kias up and down for a moment and then frowned. "I'm sorry, Master Kias, but the princess is not seeing visitors at this time. She is, of course, in despair over the rest of her mother." "Of course," the young composer said, nodding and looking appropriately sympathetic. "But I am not just visiting, you see. Her Highness requested my instruction. We are to practice her singing." "The princess already has a vocal maestro," the gruff woman replied, raising an eyebrow. "I'm sure he knows that, Odette," said a kind voice echoing down the hall that connected the residence to the palace. The two turned to see Susanna, one of the Princess Annette's handmaids, walking down towards them. "What the composer means to say is that Annette requested their work for their practice." The young woman smiled at the guard and gave Bartholomew a conspiratorial wink. From his satchel, Bartholomew produced a steel tube. "If you would be so kind as to deliver these sheets of music, my dear Susanna," he said with a smile and a genteel nod. The guard took the tube from him, but as it changed hands, something with a little widget shifted inside the tube. "What's this, then?" the guard asked, adjusting it next to her ear. "Certainly not a small statue of a bird the princess is so fond of," Bartholomew thought. "The quill and ink I used to pen the music in case she or the maestro wished to make any changes. I always deliver some with a new composition." Susanna gently looked the case from the suspicious guard. "Oh, would you stop, Odette? It's just some music." She chilled playfully. "I see to it that milady gets these," she added with a hand on Bartholomew's arm. "I'm sure she'll be eager to see the contents. You dirty man." I added that bit. But yeah, this is from the very big book of the fantastic game that I will be showing you now. Love Letters. So, there you go. Maybe better that way. There you go. Love Letters. So yeah, I'm going to show you how this great game that won an award in 2012, how to play it. So, this way. No, seriously. This way! Okay, now this is the bit where I show you the contents of Love Letters, the game that I mentioned that we're just going to do. Hope you enjoyed that little introduction. No, it was a bit longer than I imagined, but I didn't think it looked that long in the book. But there you go. This is going to be a really short episode this week because there's really not a lot to show you, as I will joke about now. Is if I show you the contents of Love Letters, you get the book that I just rather brilliantly acted and story told. I think you'll find. You get that as well, which I just showed you before. You get 20 cards, 16 of them are playable, the other 4 are instructions for the players, and you get the tokens of affection, cunningly disguised as cubes, just in a little sort of plastic case thing there. You can replace these with anything you really want, but that's literally it. I have to say, don't you think I think the bag that you get to play this game is the best thing ever. Whoever came up with this idea is a genius. But yeah, so that's pretty much in regards to the contents. I will set this up and show you how to play it. Right, that's that done. So here we are. It's literally like this. There's literally no setup. It's because, so basically what I will show you now is you draw the cards down. You give 1 card per each player. There is as I say, there are 16 playable cards in the deck, and one of the things you get is one of these cards, which gives you the instructions on how many, which will be coming up now on the screen. These tell you what the princesses are, what the cards do when you get them, and they're actually written on the cards when you get them. So, like for example, the princess, lose if discarded, the countess, discard if caught with king or prince, and that basically tells you what you have to do to the card. Now, how does the game mechanic work? If I take the cards here, you deal one card to each player. So, for the purposes of this, I'll act as the 2 players. So you get 2, like such as this. Be worth shuffle on them, and I just realised I just did the instructions. That was stupid. But so if I do 2 here at random, So that's what I start with. I'll put the deck there, just for you to see. And the idea is you. So if I show the first card, say this is me, I drew the priest. So what will come up now is it'll say, look at another player's hand. So you look at that and think, okay, so I'm the priest. So you draw another card. That's how you start the game. So I drew another card and I got a guard. Now the object of a guard is, what I could do is, so based on the two cards I have two choices. I could play the priest, so I could look at the other person's hand, which I may want to do to see what he's got, or I could pick the guard, which is any non-guard card, so you can't guess that the other person has a guard, but you can guess any other card in the game and see whether they've got that. Now, if you guess correctly, so for example, if I said Baron, and the person next to me had Baron, then then they would be out. So based on what cards I've got, I'm going to decide to play a guard. I'll just do that for the purposes of showing you. So I think this person here has the Baron. So I will. So the person doesn't have to show the person, but obviously just says yes or no. So this person has a priest. Similar. So he would just, the person who is playing here would just say, no, I do not have the Baron. In your face, bitch. So that would be the end of that person's turn. So they don't know the other card that they have, which is great. So what card I did have was a priest. So you've already seen that, so you know what the priest does. Look at the other player's hand. So this person would now draw the card. So I get a guard. So I have this similar problem. I can decide to look at the person's hand. So I could look at the card, look at that person's hand and say he's got a priest, or I could play a guard and guess what he has. Chances are with only having two priests in game, and I've already guessed Baron that he may have a priest, or because I guessed the Baron, I may think he's got a Baron. Literally, it is literally luck to figure out what the person has. So I could do a guard and do that or whatever. So that's the basis for guard and priest. So let's just say I skip this turn for the purposes of the tutorial, and I go next turn with this guy. So I draw again and I get the Countess. Now, if you have this card and the king or prince in your hand, you must discard this card. Now, I currently have the priest, so I don't need to do that. So, this is the good stage to tell you what the numbers represent. The higher the number, obviously the higher in royalty they are. Now, why is this significant? You can get a card the Baron, where the lower hand is out. Now, if you played the Baron and you had the Countess, then the chances that you have in the Countess is the second highest card in terms of number on the thing. So the chances are you would win. So that is why the numbers are important in the top left. In regards to if you keep playing the game, because there's only, as I say, 16 cards in here, if you do all the cards and nobody knocks anybody out of the rounds, because it can be up to 4 people can play this, I realise I haven't said that yet, then the person with the highest card at the end wins, so it is always worth keeping the highest numbered card, which would give you a good chance. So what I would do here if I was in this position is I would play the priest. So I'd look at another player's hand. So I would look and see, because obviously I've just showed you that for them. So say he played the card, I would check and see he has the priest, which is fine. So, next, what I would do is I would draw another card with this person. So this time I got the handmaid. So with the handmaid, what's brilliant about the handmaid is until your next turn, ignore all effects from other players' cards. It's really good to kind of play that, and it's very rare people keep them. So for this person's turn, I'm going to just say, I play the handmaid until their next turn. Nothing can stop me losing. I can't be knocked out this turn of the round.
So even if they had a guard and guessed what I had in my hand, you were exempt for that turn. That's why the handmaid's really, really awesome. So that would be the end of that person's turn. So next time they go will be a guard. So the purpose of this, I'll just keep drawing until I get a different card. So I've just revealed the Baron. Now you and another player secretly compare hands. The player with a lower value is out the round. Now what I said earlier has come up perfectly because I have the Countess at 7. So I know that the person has a priest because he just gave away his handmaid. But the problem is he's just played the handmaid, therefore I can't beat him. So I would do that. I would have to play the Baron in order if I wanted to keep the thing. And I could compare hands and say that we've won because he's got a 2. I have a 7 for the Countess, but because he's the handmaid, I can't beat him. So the turn would be skipped and he would know what I had. So that's really, really bad for me, but that's the advantage of playing the handmaid. So, back to him. So we'll pretend, so that's the end of that turn. So I'll go, that's another guard. So I've just picked up a guard. So if this was a real turn, I would play the guard and say, you got the Countess, because I know, because they showed me. So that's what's so great about that. But we'll continue just for the purposes of showing you what all the cards do. I've just drew the Prince. Choose any player to discard her card and draw a new card. So if this came up instead of the guard I just showed you, I would put down the Prince and say I want you to change your card. So I would have to discard the Countess, which you would just see, and draw a new card. This is before my turn, so this is still during this person's turn. And that's it. That would be the end of that turn. So then you would continue, and I'd draw another guard. So the only person I think I haven't showed you, there's the 2 cards left I haven't showed you. I've just picked up the King. So the King, trade hands with another player. So I just picked up the handmaid. So just for the purposes of showing you, I will play the King, even though I wouldn't do in this scenario, and they would trade hands. So I would get the priest, he would get the handmaid. That's the end of that turn. So now I just picked up the princess. So that's the highest card value in the game, so worth keeping at the end. But if you discard the card, you're out of the round. Is its ability. So it kind of indicates to you, unless you're very, very stupid, that you want to keep this because you don't want to play it under any circumstances. So I've got a perfect hand here because I've got the handmaid, which makes me exempt from being knocked out in the round. So I'll play that and keep the princess with the highest card. So my turn is I have the priest, so I could either look at the hand, as I say earlier, or the Baron. So I won't do the Baron because chances are I know she's going to have a higher hand than the 2 that I have. So I will just look and see what she has. And I would see that, or he. Sorry, I don't mean to be sexist. So I would have to reveal that I have the princess. So the final card of the game is the Prince, which I've already shown you before. Choose any player to discard and draw a new card, which means I can't because you've run out of cards anyway. I don't think that would happen with me skipping. You would usually get the right number of turns each. So I think we may have missed a turn there, but it doesn't matter for the purpose of the video. So if this happens, where all the cards are being drawn, you would reveal whoever has the highest card wins. First to 4 wins, which is why you get these affection things. As I say, you can change them, but first to 4 rounds wins. So you keep playing until someone wins 4 rounds. That is for 4 players. It's 3 for 3 players, and I think it's 2. It's 2 for 2 players. So which is great because it gives it a certain. It's 7 tokens for 2 players. 3 players is 5 tokens, and 4 players is 4 tokens. I've already played it before, so I apologise for not knowing that in advance. But yes, it is a fantastic game. It is for 8+. I've seen games last 10 to 30 minutes. In regards to how much they cost, one of the brilliant things is, I mean, it's only 20 cards, and it's roughly about £7. Roughly, you could get it for. I have a discount at the place that I get it from, so I got it slightly cheaper. But roughly, if you're looking at £7.50, maybe £8 maximum, so the price range is not going to be too different. And as I say, it's a really cool game just to for example, when we went to the Red Dwarf convention, we were playing it with a couple of people we met there, and it's a really quick, easy game to make friends and have fun. As I say, it got got an award for one of the best sort of quick games of 2012. So it's really worth a go, guys. And I'm really pleased I managed to get a copy of this because I didn't think it was available in the UK, but it is. Yeah, it's a fantastic game. So I really do hope you check it out. Yeah, so that's it. So all it leaves me to say is, if there was an apocalypse, would I take this game? So now I'm gonna get on to the review section. Hello, and this is where I'm back in my usual seat to tell you whether, if there was an apocalypse, I would take this game. When my life was on the line, would I take it? Basically, is a good enough game. I know. Like, there's been a few people who have just basically said, it doesn't really make much sense, but it's just a little gimmick that I do. So it's, it's all that kind of thing. So as you can see, this is my copy of Love Letters. As I say, I just think aesthetically this game, I think it's awesome. Whoever came up with this package, and I know I've said this before, I just think it's great. So anyway, yeah, so in terms of the ratings I would give it, obviously for those who haven't seen the other episodes that I've done, that I like to rate it in terms of, like, in general, what I would rate it out of 10, and also in terms of replayability, and also I'll tell you what is currently in the pipeline with a few more episodes of this in the future as well. But in terms of giving Love Letters a rating, I would give it 8 out of 10, and the reason for that is because it is, in terms of, as I said earlier, a bit like Starflux in the earlier episodes, and just stuff like Zombie Dice is another good example of this. Like, really good sort of quick games that you play, sort of 10, 15, 20 minutes to half an hour, games that you play sort of between the bigger games that you play, especially for stuff like us who go to board game clubs, are gonna play games that last like 3 and a bit hours. I'm not gonna then play another 3 and a bit hour game, because believe me, it takes a lot out of you mentally, and obviously you want breaks in between and stuff that doesn't require a great deal of thinking, and Love Letters is a perfect example of that. I mean, as I say, it's one of them things of, it's kind of basically, the best way I've described it is like a sort of like more interesting or a different, if you don't have a deck of cards, it's kind of like a nice alternative. Obviously with a deck of cards you've got more options in terms of what games you can play, but it's a nice alternative if you're kind of just sick of taking a card game on holiday like we used to do when we were growing up. It's a nice alternative. And as I say, and there's just it's just something different. And as I say, for the price that I said earlier on, it's not really that expensive. So I think in terms of that, it's a good investment. I mean, I've probably played about 10 games or something of this now, and I'm not got bored of it. And we play it at the board game club, like I say, is kind of just a go-between game, a filler game, as I explained. So in that sense, yeah, I think 8 out of 10 is roughly about what I'd give it, and I think that's about right. And it seems to be the general consensus of what this game gets. On other reviews, not that influences my decision. I couldn't care less what other people think. So in regards to reviews and stuff, I've never really liked that. I've never really liked that format. But anyway, yeah. So in terms of that, I'd give it 8 out of 10. In terms of replayability, I would give it a 7. And the reason for that is because, unlike Starflux, that if you look, I'm hoping if you're watching this, that you go and look at the Starflux episode that I did. Starflux has a little bit more options in terms of replayability. You could play it again, and you would not like kind of know the cards, and you could play it like, say, about 3 or 4 times in a row, and you wouldn't be bored. So even just on like a day basis, like with Love Letters, once you've finished a game as in the first person getting to 4, it's very unlikely you're gonna go, do you want another game? It's one of them type of games. So in terms of replayability, it kind of loses that, because really there's only 16 cards. So let's be honest, like you're gonna learn the game pretty quickly. I mean, the first game I played of it, which was about a month and a bit ago, it's not one for a great deal of strategy, but that's, in a sense, that's the whole purpose. As I say, that's the reason why you want these type of games around, because you don't want to, like, you know, be going, excuse me, what was 0.1 of 1,000,001 line 800 million of the instruction manual of point A paragraph 6? What does that mean? Like, you know, you don't want to spend the entire time, you know, first hour of setting up a game figuring out the rules. So, you know, you don't. I'm not, as a game, this is not. That's not a criticism, because I do like doing that occasionally. But it's always nice to just pick up a game that you're going to learn in 5 minutes, and this is a perfect example. Would I take this on if an apocalypse happened? Would I, like, run back to my house if the another zombie outbreak happened? The answer to that would be probably not. Although if you're talking weight ratio, it's a very small game, so I might be foolish enough not to do it in that sense. But really, realistically, I just think you know, if you're stuck in a house trying to escape from zombies for 30 days, this could get boring quite quickly. I know I'm a stickler to the metaphor here, but really, what I'm saying is, you know, in reality, you know, it's a every so often type game. It's not on my sort of top 10 list in terms of even for, you know, random games to play. But again, it's not a criticism, because it's not its purpose. But in terms of longevity, you know, I could see, for example, like this game being good for a few years and then people forgetting about it because of it being a filler game. Whereas if you look at something like, you know, if you look at some of the games that have survived over the years, like, you know, Ticket to Ride, and I mean, we played Shea Geek the other day that's been around nearly 10 years, and Munchkin, and obviously stuff like Magic the Gathering that's been around, you know, nearly 20 years. You know, there's a reason for that, because it keeps constantly changing. So I don't know whether they're going to go into the field of maybe, you know, of marketing it with different things. Maybe they're going to do that, but I'm not sure I'm a fan of that either. You know, because like when we did Starflux, that's obviously a version of Flux the game, but I'm not convinced that's the way to go a lot of the time, because we were talking, for example, about Star Trek Catan, and as much as I love as much as I love Star Trek, I prefer the original Settlers a lot more. I have based on what I've seen, I haven't actually sat down and played Star Trek Catan, but from what I've actually watched people play it, and it just seems to miss something. It misses the sort of edge of what made Settlers great. So I don't really like a lot of designers going that way. But anyway, yeah, that pretty much covers my review of Love Letters. So I hope you enjoyed. The next episode, I'm hoping, with it being 2 weeks' time from now, is that it will be at UK Expo convention. I'm really going to try and see if I can get this to happen, because I've had a few people tweeting me. If you want more information about UK Expo, please go on ukexpo.co.uk. And if you're anywhere near Birmingham, please do have a look and try and come down. It's the biggest board game convention in the UK, as far as I know. I've been invited to go down, so I'm really excited. Got a few sort of secret guests that I'm not allowed to talk about, but hoping it all goes to plan. And I'm so excited, because, as I say, I'm part of @Newcastle Gamers, which is their Twitter handle. I go every couple of weeks to play, and I'm going to be missing my regular meetup in order to go to this. So I'm hoping it's as good as it sounds. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing. So hopefully, you know, you may even get some famous board game makers on the next episode of this. So that would be cool. As well as I'm also doing a podcast there, apocalypse.com. So that pretty much covers it. So in terms of a couple of weeks' time, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but some games on the radar for those that are interested. I'm probably going to do a pandemic one. I've said about RECO on the last episode. I'm definitely going to do an episode of that, because I think that's one of the you know, the even better filler type games, pretty easy to play. And just a few others in the pipeline. There's loads of games I play, like I mentioned Shea Geek. I may even do a Shea Geek one. But I don't want to do too many games that people know about through, you know, more popular stuff. So my idea is to try and get more underground ones on the list that you may not know too much about. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Subscribe to my channel, please, and check out more of the stuff. I say there's some Red Dwarf stuff. If any Red Dwarf fans are watching this, there's some Red Dwarf stuff, and the podcast of Geek Apocalypse and stuff, and my blog and various other things. And follow us at geek_apocalypse. for more information. So thanks, hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in 2 weeks time, hopefully at UK Expo, or if not, there will be something down the pipeline. So keep subscribing and keep an eye on this channel, because it's getting bigger all the time. So thanks, and see you soon. Bye.